You might not think that Africa is synonymous with technological innovation or entrepreneurialism, but over recent years, Africa's extraordinarily young population has embraced them. This was evident in a technology and media conference in Abuja, a gathering of African creatives in the tech and media space, having industry leaders share insight on building a profitable business in Africa.
Technology Media Conference this year is themed The Business of Creativity. A brand's value is intrinsic. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has nothing to do with where you are necessarily located. It's a customer's gut feeling about a particular product. Now, creativity is unique everywhere. I believe it's distributed globally. But opportunity, the business of it has not necessarily been distributed globally. There's a lot of creativity happening here, but a lot of the Western world don't have a way to plug into the electricity because we've not chosen to create a system that will take our creativity like a turbine and convert it to energy and start distributing it. And our goal is to be able to create that infrastructure required to convert energy that existed as flowing water or as creativity just dispersed and bursting everywhere and channel it all together to create something that even people in the Western world can plug into.
There's a lot of liberalization of the space, so it's open up to new innovations. You see there's a lot of direction facing toward Africa. Recently, I know AWS is trying to set up a base in Lagos. They are recruiting from Lagos for their Lagos setup, and that is an American brand which come to also bet in Lagos. Facebook has done that, or now Meta has done that, and a number of them continuously are looking towards Africa, towards Nigeria predominantly, because one, there is the market, one, there is the zeal, the drive, and creativity of those within that market, and I mean, if you look at the storytelling within the media space, within the movie industry, for example, the filmmaking industry, there are a lot of adoption of African stories. Recently, of course, Wakanda already. As we continue to push these conversations, we continue to attract the right audience.
The rest of the world couldn't access African culture, and so they had to listen to what to think about Africans through radio that took so long, TV, newspapers. Now they can meet you directly. And do you know what the world is finding out? That African art is dope. And so through these phones, through TikTok, through Instagram, through Facebook, through YouTube, through all these platforms, the world is going to continue to purchase more and more and more African content. This is our time. So it's not a time for you to get small, it's a time for you to get big. It's not a time for you to try to go back into what was. It's a time for you to sit and look at where is the world going and learn as much as you can, because why not? We are the cultural producers of Earth, and we've never been in control of the tools of the trade. And part of the reason we've never been in control of the tools of trade is because the West has always told us, you care about only money, you should be humble, you should be small, you're Africans, you don't think at that level. We should build the technologies that share culture to the world, because we are the producers of culture. We've always been. We're the producers of rhythm, we're the producers of harmony, we're the producers of dance, we're the producers of drama, we're the producers of hip-hop, we're so awesome as a people.
Some people are of the opinion that Africans don't yet fully value their creative industry and its importance in society, making it harder to get noticed, and perhaps contributing to the Western idea of Africa through stories that are heavily laced with conflict, colonial struggles, identity crisis, and poverty. While those stories still exist and are still relevant, they shouldn't exist as the only lens for the whole African continent and experience.
Everybody has prejudices. Everybody has preconceptions. Same with foreigners have preconceptions about Africans, and they come here and they expect to see more primitive stuff. It's the same way a lot of Africans have preconceptions about the West, thinking that it's like a utopia, and they go there and they find out, yeesh, some of these places are worse than where I'm coming from. A lot of people they're xenocentric when it comes to Africa. They're xenocentric, so they always think things that come from the outside are better. So it's a problem that is real. It's a problem that will be there until we change the perception. It's not on them to change it. It's on us to create the perception.
The direction of the Wakanda and all of that, now focused in Africa, now gives us the avenue to engage. Now that they are attempting to tell these stories, we then have the avenue to engage and now begin to, again, like I said before, rewrite the narrative. So if you look at Woman King, for example, it's a story about a certain place in a certain country in Africa. Again, we are getting the right resources, the right platforms to begin to engage. Before we were locked out, but now we are coming to the tables to have conversations. A lot of the stories within Africa have been sort of doctored because they are being told from a different man's perspective. So with us now beginning to tell our own stories as we know it, as passed down to us, we are now able to ensure that we redirect the narrative.
I think that we are in the age of African storytelling. If you've paid attention to the global world now, everybody's looking towards Africa for our stories. You just saw Woman King if you haven't seen it. Wakanda is around in the second entry. There is the other two movies. Disney is working on a feature film called Iwaju. Cartoon Network or HBO just acquired Iyanu. And these are comic series, African-themed comic series that have been spread across for decades. Now they're getting global relevance. But it's not just limited to them. It's actually an opportunity. It speaks of a sense that Africa, the age of Africa has come. For the longest time, what Marvel might give to you is a repackaging of their old heroes. They bring them together, Endgame, kill yourself, and we're good, right? And they make some money on it. But we are sitting on treasure troves of stories from the empires and the emperors of 14th, 17th African centuries. Those stories haven't even been told. We're talking about fairy tales and folk tales that can make global epic series like what we're seeing with Game of Thrones. We're sitting on them and we've done nothing with them. The truth is that we are likely to experience another neo-colonialism, where the white men will buy these things, get us to produce them, but the wealth belongs to those who own the IP. And if you want to tell the story, you better own your IP because you will be forced to tell the story from their context.
The diversity of African culture and creativity is beginning to receive more attention globally. This is why Africa's creative minds are now being fostered right across the continent. Collectively, we are seeing the growth of an exciting new digital age in Africa that is proven to be attractive to the region's young population and creative minds.
We want to tell the Nigerian story. We want to talk about Abuja, but we also now want to talk about Africa. Because when we started, there was something that I was very sure about. I did not like the mainstream media narrative of my country. When you Google pictures, those Kwashiorkor children, it hurt my soul. And I was very determined to showcase the beauty of this country, and we're still doing that.
The Chuka nailed it when he said we have to evolve. I think we must evolve faster than the pace of technology to be able to stay ahead of the game. But what is most important that will add to what has been said is the type of education that can support adoption of innovation. I fundamentally think when we say creators economy, we're talking about all of us here. Because if we're all made in the image and likeness of God, and God is a creator, fundamentally, it means we are all creators at different levels. We need a new definition of creativity that can expand to accommodate the different ways we can create.
Unfortunately, most of the development that has happened in the African entertainment and technology space has still been foreign driven. We still have more VC firms invested in African companies. We still have more, every creative wants to get signed by Sony or get signed by Empire Music, right? Because they are still the ones giving value to what we have. Until we are awake and understand the value that we have and build infrastructure and systems and business out of it, the world will not be able to respect us for what we truly have.
African culture is on the rise, not just on the continent, but across the globe. The creative industries, from African music to movies, dance, cuisine, fashion, and other types of art, have the potential to earn billions of dollars for African countries and create job opportunities for the growing workforce. African creative should be driven by the belief that we can tell better stories, create better art with deep meaning by taking inspiration from each other, recognizing the unparalleled dynamism of the true African spirit and creativity.